Welcome to Business Communications. This is Chapter 1's PowerPoint. Business Communication in the Digital Age. So, what are communication skills? I think we're all familiar with traditional communication skills needed in business. Obviously, reading, writing, speaking, listening, making sure that you listen to your teammates as well as your superiors. And then also nonverbal communication, body gestures, expressions. And it's pretty hard to apply the new requirements as far as being media savvy and being online and blending those traditional abilities with the new technology that's out there. Think about it. Have you ever gotten an email from somebody that you've read and said, how dare they? How dare they talk to me like that? And you talk to that person, and it was a simple miscommunication, or it wasn't expressed in the right way. Well, it's really important to keep that in mind and to understand that, especially with new technology, that applying some of these traditional abilities is very difficult. And that's what we'll be working on in this class. Writing in a digital age, writing matters more than ever. Online media requires more of it, not less. And communicating clearly and effectively has never been more important than it is today. In addition, life-changing critical judgments about people are being made solely on their writing ability. And it's important in business that you master communication, especially with these new platforms. Some tools to succeed in this new workplace. Knowledge and information workers engage in mind work. We have to understand that a lot of today's positions in the workplace are based off of mind work. Creative thinking, creative problem solving, writing, reading. And these types of positions double almost every year. And workers of the future need to really understand how to make sense of words, figures, and data. And talent shortages plague our market because these skills are becoming harder and harder to find. Thinking creatively and critically in the digital age. This means having opinions backed up not just by gut, but by reasons and evidence. Anticipating and solving problems. And making decisions and communicating them effectively to your teammates and others. If we take a look at the creative problem-solving process, it's a three-step process. The first step is to explore the challenge. We need to identify the challenge or the problem. And then we have to clearly gather information and clarify the problem to not only ourselves, but to other people that we work with. Step 2 is to generate ideas, to come up with as many ideas as possible to help solve that problem, and then working with a team to help pick the most promising ideas. And then finally, implementing those solutions, right? We need to implement those solutions and strengthen them based off of results. And plan how to bring your solution to life and implement. Social media is also changing the way we communicate. If you think about it, it allows us to connect with consumers and invite their feedback on products and services. It allows us to improve our products and services based off of what they're saying online. It also is a platform where we can make announcements and promotions and respond to crises. And it's interesting that social media is the only medium, the only form of communication that allows us to do all these things. Word of mouth, both positive and negative, can travel instantly in social media, and we need to be aware of that. The challenges of relentless Connectiveness across time zones and distances. We need to understand that we work in a global economy. We work remote. Um, there's challenges associated with that. Long hours without extra compensation. Being available practically anywhere and anytime. Living with an increasingly blurry line between your personal and work life. And remaining tethered to the workplace with electronic devices around the clock. How many of you check email after work? I do, my wife does. Some of the other challenges is that the physical office is extending its reach by becoming mobile and always on. Americans work 30% more than their colleagues in other countries while enjoying the shortest paid vacations. A networked, information-driven workforce never goes off duty in an organization that never sleeps. And these are some of those challenges. Global marketplace and competition. Factors that prompted companies to move to emerging markets around the world. Rise of new communication technologies. Removal of trade barriers. Advanced forms of transportation and saturated local markets. We're truly a a global economy now. Local companies can open up a storefront and ship and serve people around the world. And that's thanks to these new communications technologies. So we need to know how to communicate properly in them. We need to understand that there's different customs, lifestyles, and business practices in different markets, right? We need to recognize and practice cultural awareness, flexibility, and patience. We need to cope with the challenges of multiple time zones, vast distances, and different languages. And we need to develop new skills and attitudes. Shrinking management layers. Some advantages of this. Cost savings and efficiency. Fewer layers between managers and line workers. Shorter lines of communication. Faster decision making. And quick response to market changes. These are some advantages with shrinking the layers within an organization. Growing workforce diversity, very important. It benefits consumers, work teams, and businesses. A diverse staff is better able to respond to an increasingly diverse customer base, local and globally. Team members with various experiences are more likely to create products than consumers demand. And consumers want to deal with companies respecting their values. So it's important to diversify and have a diverse work group. Virtual and non-territorial offices. We're living in a COVID era right now. So we know what working remote is like. Mobile and decentralized work spaces offer flexible work arrangements. The work shifter is a new breed of commuter, and co-working is a quite popular practice. We have co-working offices for my company in another city. Then basically this is a bunch of people getting together and sharing communal office space as needed. Networked office in a hyper-connected world, right? Smart electronic devices equals mobility. Social media networks allow us to be interactive with people. The biggest shift has happened from one-sided, slow communication into interactive, instant, paperless communication. We need to be able to communicate. And that's what this course will go over, is all the different communications and communication styles and taking those things into consideration. Media richness. The more helpful cues and immediate feedback the medium provides, the more richer and less ambiguous it is, right? Think about it. A rich experience, a face-to-face and telephone conversation, right? These are the type of rich things that we need to have to discuss complex issues, sensitive subjects. These are the go-to modes of communication. Lean, written emails, letter, memos, notes, and reports. These are for more of routine, ambiguous problems that really don't require that rich face-to-face and conversation. Social presence, the degree to which people are engaged online and ready to connect with others. Media with high social presence conveys warmth and are very personal. High in synchronous communication, obviously face-to-face communication, video conference, live chat, right? You can engage with people easier and you can have a more meaningful conversation because you get to see facial gestures, body language, you get to hear them, understand what they're saying. But if you think about it, those communications that are low, email and social media posts. We talked about earlier how somebody can get an email and misinterpret it. Informal communication channels, there's a lot of those out there, right? The grapevine, gossip, right? Carries unofficial messages. It flows haphazardly. It can be remarkably accurate, but very damaging. And it's mostly disliked by management. And it thrives when all official information is very limited. Finally, let's talk a little bit about ethics when it comes to business communications, right? The goals of ethical business communicators: to abide by the law, tell the truth, be objective, use inclusive language, label opinions and give credit where it's due, and communicate clearly, right? And choosing those tools for doing the right thing, the 5 questions you must ask yourself to guide ethical decisions. 1, is the action legal? 2, would you do it if you were on the opposite side? 3, can you rule out a better alternative? 4, would a trusted advisor agree? And 5, would family, friends, employers, and a coworker approve of your actions? This is a quick 5 questions that you can ask yourself if you're doing the right thing. That's it for chapter 1.